for tuning in to another edition of Outside the Shop with me, your host, Daryl Delane, where I can talk about everything that I normally don't get the chance to talk about on my regular sports podcast, Barbershop Sports Talk, which you guys can all find on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, whichever podcasting app or platform you may use. And this is, by the way, thank you everybody who's tuning in via YouTube live stream, Facebook Live, and Twitter/Periscope. Like, comment, and subscribe. Always love hearing all of your thoughts. Have a pod tonight. Gonna have my friend Ben Karen host the Sports Wild podcast. We're gonna talk about some college football. Gonna do predictions for the NFL and college football as well. Talk a little bit about the game. Browns versus Broncos Thursday night football tonight. Also on Friday, I think I'm gonna be recording a pod with a friend of mine too, Eli Weisberger, and we're going to be doing top 20 NBA storylines for this year. That should be released on Wednesday, though, so stay tuned for that. And as always, check on the descriptions below and subscribe to the sports channel on YouTube. I appreciate all of it. So let's start with this. Browns versus Broncos. Thursday night football, prime time, a battle of two teams just clawing to survive. The Broncos have lost their last 3 games, while the Browns have lost their quarterback, Baker Mayfield. They've lost multiple wide receivers. Offensive line, they've been banged up. Lots of players out throughout the whole year. It's kind of coming on to a figuring pitch right now. Where it's do or die for both these teams. The Broncos, right? They started out 3-0, and now they're at 3-3. The Browns are a team with the top 5 roster in the NFL, top 3 roster in the AFC, really, and they're now 3-3. So whoever loses this game, one team's going to be 4-3 and be in good shape to potentially be in the wild card, to be a playoff team. The other one's going to be in 3-4, and they're going to have an uphill climb to get to those AFC playoffs. So this is a big game, pivotal game for quarterbacks. Case Keenum plays really well. People could start being like, hey, Baker, why not bench Baker? I feel like that conversation could go on. If Teddy Bridgewater is really bad, we can start seeing Drew Lock, backup quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who was a high-round draft pick for them. So this will be a very interesting game with a lot on the line. Also, Vic Fangio, head coach of the Denver Broncos, he's probably on a mandate right now. Has to make the playoffs this year, or he's out. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. So let's get to this Baker Mayfield. So this injury is expected to need off-season surgery, but I think they're going to let him try to finish off the year, even though he's not going to be playing today. I think depending on how bad this injury is, and some reports said, there could be more damage that could incur from him continuing to play. Obviously, throwing the football is a full shoulder motion, while the injury is on the other shoulder. But if you're throwing it, it's a full shoulder motion. You're always getting hit. I could see how that would be nagging and be very painful. So the Browns are going to have to make a decision with that, and maybe it's best to go with Case Keenum and kind of redshirt Baker for this year if he can't give you all he can. So next, let's get to this Deshaun Watson trade rumors. So, head coach of the Carolina Panthers, Ben Rule, was asked if they're potentially looking at Deshaun Watson. He said no, and I think this is always a very dumb question when it's asked, because what do you expect Matt Rule to say? Yeah, Sam Darnold's been ass basically the last couple of weeks. Yeah, we'd want Deshaun Watson. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's an amazing player. No, you're not going to say that. You're always going to believe in your guys, especially Matt Rule is coming from college, when one of the most important things in college is to empower your players. So I don't see that happen. But I do think that's something that they're probably looking into. They were looking into before. When there's smoke, there's fire on a lot of these reports and a lot of these rumors. And I think they would love to have Deshaun Watson, because this team is a quarterback away from being a legit contender to win it all. Next, I want to get to this on the NBA side. Daryl Morey, general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers, I want to read this. So he said, let's buckle up, folks. This Ben Simmons drama, it's just getting started. We're not trading him anytime soon. Obviously, Ben Simmons, he said he's not mentally ready to play. I guess faking injuries. It's getting kind of ugly. Doc Rivers had to kick him out. And I'm kind of wondering, Daryl, and like a Daryl, right? Daryl not going to trade Ben Simmons unless he's getting maximum value, and even getting more value than what he getting more value in return and actually giving away Ben Simmons. So he's not going to be the one that's getting less value in return. He either wants even value or more value. That's the type of guy he is. He's an analytics guy, baseball guy. That's how Daryl Morey operates and does business as general manager in the NBA. And that's served him well throughout his career. Because if you look at it, the James Harden trade, getting swindling James Harden from the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's done a bunch of other stuff like that as well. Getting a guy like PJ Tucker when nobody thought PJ Tucker could be a valuable piece. Getting Chris Paul. This is something Daryl Morey has always done. I think the interesting thing about this with the Sixers is, when does the Sixers owner step in and be like, hey, we can't have this guy on the roster. I don't want to have to pay this guy. You have to get rid of him. When does a mandate come from up top? Right? That I think is interesting, because as an owner, you can't like this if this is going on in your business. It's embarrassing. And while Daryl Morey can be, we're going to hold our cards, we're going to wait for the right time to strike. I don't know if the owner is going to be as receptive or reciprocal to that notion. But it's like maybe the owner is giving Daryl Morey complete control and complete confidence to say, hey, man, I trust you. I paid you to be in this position. Do what you do. And Jason Kelce, Philadelphia Eagles center, said this to Ben Simmons: just play better, and Philadelphia fans, they will love you. And this gets into the thing about Ben. You know, Ben Simmons has been criticized a lot, but all you have to do in sports is try. All you have to do is try. The bare minimum. Try, work hard, and fans will love you. Fans will have loyalty for you. For the most part, right? But fans are loyal to that. Like, the fans don't really criticize players if they try hard, they're good to the city, they have the heartbeat of the city. Allen Iverson never won a championship in Philadelphia, and he's beloved in Philadelphia, right? So, I mean, it's kind of just like, if you do what you're supposed to do, they will always love you. They have no issue with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid had issues with him being out of shape. All Ben Simmons needs to do is try to shoot, show he's getting better, and Philadelphia fans will love him. And I think Jason Kelce hits that right on the head, right? Like, I think Ben is kind of being a little soft in this instance, and I get it doesn't feel good when your coach says, I don't know if this guy can be a championship point guard. If Joel Embiid is kind of saying the turning point of the playoff series is something you did, right? And you're being singled out and fans are booing you and you don't feel comfortable. But at the end of the day, fans are fans. It's short for fanatic. They will love you if you handle your business and you put in effort and you're good, right? It's that simple. And I'll tell you this, fans will love Ben Simmons right now if he was shooting threes and making them. They would love him to death. And that's all we have for this edition of Outside the Shop. Everybody have a great day, and God bless. And also, check out Outside the Shop for tomorrow. It's going to be the special gambling edition. It's going to give you guaranteed bets, prop bets, and picks to stay away from, okay? 2-1 on prop bets. Should have been 3-0. Could do a little better on the guarantees. Couple mistakes there, but we're going to get it figured out. And so check that out if you want to make some money and get rich, kids.